guys? Welcome to the gutter. My name is Steve-O. I've had a week off, so I don't know how to do this shit anymore. Actually, it's been 3 weeks since I've even hosted a podcast.
It was Mattel.
Yeah. It's been a while.
Because last week was game night, week before Nerdez hosted, and so then it was 3 weeks ago.
That's right.
It was some time. Tonight, we're going to be talking about the best expansions in DLC. They get a really bad rap because there's a lot of money-grubbing, cash-grabbing pieces of shit out there that like to suck your wallet dry.
Cash cows.
Yep. But there are some times where you have some really amazing experiences that are totally worth the cost. So I want to focus on those today. But first, let me make sure that I have the scene transition set correctly. What you been playing, Alex?
Let's see. Well, I've been playing more Sekiro.
Yeah.
Got past the second boss. That was a pain in the ass.
How many? If you were to estimate the number of tries it took you
For the boss?
for that second boss, how many tries did that take you?
Probably at least 30
Yep.
tries.
Yep. That's Sekiro.
That's about it. Maybe the first 10 just to get used to his moveset. And then the second being like cussing at myself in it.
The first like 3 lives for any Souls or Soulsborne game for me is always okay. Let's spend a couple lives like learning your moves.
Right.
And in Bloodborne, you don't replenish your healing items. So in Dark Souls, when you die and you come back, your healies are replenished. Mm-hmm. However many you're carrying, you're filled up.
Yeah.
But in Bloodborne, you're not. You have a limited amount, and you can go find more or buy more.
Yeah.
But so I'm like, okay, first 3 tries of this boss, not even going to heal, and I'm not even going to attack. I'm just going to let it swing at me. Oh, okay, let's
happens.
try that again. and go, okay, and then once you start to dance with it, okay, now I'm going to start phasing in some attacks.
Right, exactly.
Is that how you're doing with Sekiro, or can you not play that passive?
Well, the cool thing with that is that you're always just going to have these bottles that you can always refill. And you can increase that limit. Right now I'm at 8, you start at 2. And so that just gives you more vitality throughout the fight. The main thing about these fights is that they just last so long. Like each of those deaths were probably about 5 or 10 minutes.
Right.
And you're trying to figure out the opponent's weakness. If you have to break their guard to get that instant kill.
When you go to heal in Sekiro, you take a drink of something?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
so when you drink, in Dark Souls, you take the drink and the animation takes a second or two, and then brip, and it's up.
Right.
In Dark Souls 2, you take a drink, and at the beginning of the animation, I think, it starts to climb and continues to heal until it stops.
It's a recovery.
How does Sekiro work? If you get the animation done, is it...
There's actually 2 types of healings. There's one, the main one that I always use is the gourd, because that one's unlimited, and if I'm going into a fight, I'm just going to use that. And so that one's instant, and which is great. The other one, it's like a secondary heal. It does the heal over time.
Okay.
And so that one takes a little bit longer. It's like if I run out of gourd and I'm just like struggling, like, I'm going to get this motherfucker.
Right.
And so that's what I save those for.
So, Mr. Britt says, I can chat now. Hey, Alex, looking mad sexy with that hair back, buddy.
Oh.
Yeah, I agree. 100%. I do like, I do like sort of the big, like the completely unfettered fro. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
It's not looking so great, so I kind of just put it up in a bun.
Yeah, and also you guys in chat start thinking about like your favorite expansions of DLC. JB, I'm going to write yours down because I'm going to come back to you. I'm going to come back to it when we get there.
Do you want me to write it?
Do you think I could read your handwriting?
Yes.
Just right next to JB, just write down what he said and we'll get there. Raven, what have you been playing?
Well, mostly Realm, but
Yeah.
I had kind of a sponsored by June game day where I played Sims 4 and
Nice.
Spore.
Okay.
cool.
Yes, Spore is a sim where you start off as like an
single-celled
amoeba or
organism,
something,
yeah.
and it becomes things.
Yeah.
How did you feel about both of these game experiences?
So I mean,
June aside, because I'm sure playing with June's a blast.
actually, I couldn't play with her because I just used her origin stuff
Oh, okay.
to play the game. So like, she was like talking to me and watching me play, but I was just playing. Sims 4, I was not a huge fan of. I like the like building part of it. Like I built my house, like floor plan and everything. And
Did you murder anyone?
Wait, is there free building in Sims 4, or do you have to use like templates, like housing templates? Because I know you can customize things. Like you can build a house and you can like expand the floors, or can you start from?
Yeah, you can start from scratch, like build the walls and.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I mean, talk about downloadable content. Like Sims 4 has like everything. You can like go on and download anything for it.
Right.
But the like actual game part of it, where you're like either just watching a simulated person live its life, or like telling a simulated person what to do.
I don't care how other people live their lives.
like-
I don't want to tell other people how to live their lives.
Yeah.
There's really nothing for me to do here.
Not so much my thing.
Well, that's a good sign. You're not as psycho as some of the other people that plays the game.
Yeah, there's a certain amount of like, I'm going to get y'all into trouble.
Yeah, I've heard some fucked up things. On that game.
Like there was one of our friends once told us that there's an entire Reddit or something of people that have killed their Sims in like crazy fucked up ways.
Oh, yeah.
And one's like you take someone who's like afraid of water and you put them in the pool and then remove the ladder so that they can only swim and they just like freak out and drown. Cool shit like that.
Yeah. That's crazy. Spore was a lot of fun as an amoeba. But then once you grew legs and got out on land, it became less fun.
I feel like that's the very thing. Like, it's cool if I can just like sit here and do nothing. As soon as I got to go out and do shit.
Pretty much, it was like you were like swimming around just eating crap, and then you get bigger and you could eat bigger crap. Like, oh man, this is awesome.
it's like Katamari Damacy at first.
It is very Katamari Damacy. Kind of Jeff's Fresh Pitten game where it's like you can swim around and eat things or not.
Yeah.
Like, it was great. And then, like,
if I want to be a single cell organism for the rest of my life.
like you grow legs and things get complicated.
Game
you
Guy
have to, like,
says
sing and dance.
Game Guy says my favorite expansion is when I get back from work and there are a bunch of snacks on the table. He's talking about a stomach expansion.
Oh.
I hope.
Wow.
Getting food babies. Making food babies.
By the way, I do love Katamari. The scale at which you... Because a lot of levels, like when you get to the end of the game and you're like rolling over like cities and then states and stuff like that, like that's really cool.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun. It's like a big puzzle game.
Yeah.
Because you can't like collect certain things until you get to certain sizes.
Yeah, and there is, a lot of the levels are sort of in stages, so you don't really realize it necessarily until like way later. It's not like you're going, oh, I'm picking up dust mites and then paper clips and then couches and then houses and then... Usually it's like you do a sort of a small scale thing and it stops and then you go back and then eventually you're like, oh, I've come a long way.
Yeah, well, and it's also the way that they like you in one level you start here and you end up here, and then in the next level you don't start here, you start here, and then you end up here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like because they keep kind of like going back a little bit, like it does catch up to you that, oh geez, now I'm giant.
Right. Yeah. What about you, Cal? What you been playing? Have you been able to game lately? Because a lot of times these days we ask you what you've been playing, you're like, fuck all.
Well, I worked actually the past 6 days, so we talked about this earlier.
God damn it.
But today I did get to play a little bit of League, and I'm hard stuck gold 2, so it's great. Just hard stuck.
Who's solo? Getting that solo Elo hell?
Yeah, Elo hell, hard stuck. It's great. Gold 2, I love it.
Is it someone else? Whose fault is it?
I mean, obviously the other team.
It's every other teammates. Yeah.
When you int in lane, I can't stop you from controlling your own lane.
Have you? Do you lol?
I used to like way back in the day. I'm probably gonna try to get back into it, but I mean that's pretty damn good to get solo gold.
I mean,
gold too.
it's okay.
Cal, the bronze player.
Okay, dude. Okay. No.
I was stuck in that silver Elo.
It's just like right now the Elo, it's Elo hell. Like gold is Elo hell, and I can't.
What is Elo? Is that a character, or is that a
It's
thing?
like your MMR. Like
what's an MMR?
Is that a measles, mumps, rubella shot?
Yeah, I think that's
it's
Talking about vaccinations. Don't you anti-vax me today?
Your rank.
your player rank.
Yeah, like so.
ELO is a rank.
Oh my god. We'll get you a proper definition.
I'm not trying to fuck with you guys.
No,
I want to know what ELO is.
I think ELO is your player rank. So like you're a
Your ELO
gold.
is your rank.
Yeah, like if you're in gold, there's gold 1 through 5, and you're in the gold 1 through 5 Elo, and you're with players in gold 1 through 5 when you're playing against them, opposed to being in the plat Elo.
You're saying the same thing when you say ELO as if you were saying I'm a gold player rank.
Anyway, so whenever the hell part is when you're either on the brim of the 5 stars or if you're on like the
You're on the high. Like, if you're on the gold 1 and you're being put with like gold 5 players.
Also, that's a really cool name for like a Star Wars outlaw. Is Brim 5 stars?
Brim 5 stars. Hey.
Yeah, I could see that.
I just watched Solo again this last week and was like, That's a good ass movie.
It's so good.
I don't care what people say. Solo's a good ass movie.
It's good.
It's good.
And June, if I can't get past Bronze 2, then you're trapped in Iron 5. If not wood or hard.
Oh, damn, Iron 5, dude.
It's
Sorry,
I guess
I'm trying not to. No, I'm not
I
gonna
don't
make
really.
it. So, what is the base? What do you start at?
Iron is the base.
Iron is base. Okay.
Yeah,
I've never been that low.
Yeah.
And do they count down or up? So is 5 the lowest and 1 is the
Yes.
highest? Okay.
Yes.
JB.
Gotcha.
You're not unlikable, JB. You're the most likable person on the planet.
There should be a wood ranked. I would be wood with my league play.
I wish there was a wooden cardboard rank. I really do.
They would. They like.
I wish there was a cardboard rank.
They would.
just
They
so I
wouldn't
could
even. They
trash
wouldn't
on
even like
people.
give me like, oh, sorry, man, you're Iron 5. It's like, dude, we created a new rank for you.
Yeah.
You are so bad at this game. You are now wood.
I'm trying to get to plastic.
Yeah.
Please. Come on, guys.
That's about it.
Yeah.
Just trapped in.
Well,
hell.
I'm sorry that you're trapped in gold.
Yeah, it's not bad to be trapped in gold, but it's also bad to be trapped in gold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People don't consider a real league player still
above
are
that.
Yeah, it goes
And
platinum, diamond, master,
Grandmaster?
challenger, grandmaster.
Yeah.
And people don't consider real like players of league unless you're in diamond. So
Man, I
I'm
really
still in
wish.
trash Canistan right now in league play.
I can't wait for Realm. I hope that they do like an actual, because right now their pseudo ranking system is just once you win 50 games, you're a master,
Yeah.
and everybody gets there.
So everybody gets a participation.
Yeah, it's kind of like and
Well,
that's
it's
why
not,
you
it's
like
not
playing
playing
that
50
game.
games, it's winning 50 games.
winning. Yeah,
Yeah.
That's why he doesn't care about frames per second, because he's got a participation trophy for master.
Yeah, but dude, you don't even have
you
a
do
solo
have-
win in PUBG, so hold your fucking horse.
I'm not even attacking
you do have you do have a rank that gives you so like you'll be like a master. I think I'm 774. Which is of your top 50 games, it adds together all of your kills. So I've in my top 50 games, I've averaged, I think it's like 16 kills per game.
So there's a systematic
which is
formula
high.
to
Like, which is high.
so there's a systematic formula to predict your
Yeah. So even though like everybody eventually becomes master, you can kind of get a gauge, but unfortunately, you could also just like queue up in Australian servers if you wanted to get
So,
20 kills a game.
That's
and just
conspiracy
pad your stats.
stuff, Mr. Birds, right? Riot doesn't actually start YouTubers and streamers, specific ones, like popular ones, at Diamond for
Not a
celebrity's
diamond,
sake, right?
Oh,
some
I
of
have
the
no
streamers
idea,
I've noted they have put them started at silver rank, but there's some that I know for a fact has done. Specifically, I Will Dominate. He did a brand new fresh account that he made and grinded up to level 30 so he could just play from challenger up. He did from the iron grind all the way up to challenger in a week. So you can watch his YouTube for that one.
So smurfing?
So he was smurfing on kids, of course, but he did a whole rank from base rank from level 1 all the way up to challenger after he got his ranked account.
Well, I really hope that that's not happening. Like,
It makes me
I
feel
mean, I
like
hope
a-
Riot's not
Oh, no.
giving out random.
No.
Although, I guess ultimately it doesn't matter. Like
Yeah, but-
the ones here and like
But
the
if
ones
it's
here
like-
and there, like I guess doesn't really tip anything in
Yeah.
any direction. But still, I can understand if you've been fighting for something, you've been like fighting for diamond or fighting for platinum, like on the cusp and you can't quite make it. You know, even hearing the story about someone being given some sort of preferential treatment for celebrity status, like that kind of blows. It's supposed to be a meritocracy, right?
Yeah, like Ninja doing shit or whatever.
Ninja can do whatever he wants.
Yeah.
They can platinum. They can give him whatever he wants. I'm glad Ninja exists because I want more of the world to be engaged in streaming.
Yeah,
And
sure.
the more popular Ninja gets, the more popular we all get.
They gave Ninja the thing? Is that
Did anybody give Ninja a thing?
What?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Because I don't know why we brought up Ninja.
Give him the thing. Whatever the thing is, give it to
Whatever,
him.
yeah.
I don't care. It's
Sure.
fun. Who said Ninja?
I did.
It wasn't Ninja.
I was just bringing it up.
Like, I'm so confused as to why we brought up Ninja.
Well,
I mean, let's talk about Ninja. Like his crazy pink hair.
To the conversation, we're just talking about how different streamers get special privileges from the games that they play.
Oh, okay. I see. Yeah.
Like money to play them. Like,
Yeah, money to play a game. Yeah.
Well,
And that should
more
be
in-game stuff.
Realm has
And-
never once given me any money to play their game.
Right.
Those assholes.
I wish that they would pay. I wish they would do that more.
yeah.
Yeah. So I spent this last week not streaming. So my game that I played recently was actually Sniper Elite 4. And I really love the Sniper Elite games for some reason. Well, I know the reason. They're stealth games, and I love stealth games. But on top of that, there is sniping. And it's interesting because you have this little... You can play it sort of in arcade mode, where the middle of the reticle is where your shot goes and there's no bullet drop. And then you can play it in realistic mode, where there's bullet drop. But even with that, there's a little marker, so like when you aim, you don't see it. But then when you hold your breath, like empty lung, it creates a little thing that shows you where the bullet will go, and you can compensate for it. And that's like, for me, sitting there horsing around, that's fine.
Sounds real easy.
But it sort of does take sort of the...
It does sound real easy.
There's still some challenge to it. Like if there's like a plane taking off and you're like trying to get the...
Hard mode, no breathing.
Yeah, that would be one way to do it. But I had a blast with it. It's really simple, stupid kind of game, but I like sneaking around, taking shots, blowing stuff up. You know, it does this thing, I don't know if you guys have seen Sniper Elite, but it does a thing where if you get a shot on someone, it'll do like a bullet time where it like follows the bullet, but then it goes into X-ray, and so it shows the bullet and like the bones like breaking and shattering, and then all of the internal damage, and then like the external it's
pretty show us that.
So like the making a testicle shot, for example, is especially interesting.
Oh no!
Yeah, you can watch them puppies explode like popcorn.
No. Not very pleasant.
Yeah. So Jimmy said you can see when you blow up someone's nards. Yeah. That's true. Okay, so let's get into topic then. I'm going to mention a few things that people from social media mentioned.
Sure.
And you guys in chat start thinking about the Mortal Kombat of stealth games. Yes, I believe Sniper Elite's been doing it for a while now. I believe Sniper Elite did the X-ray damage thing prior to Mortal Kombat's X-ray damage thing. But I do not know that. But it's a fun game. If you like sniping games, I give it a shot. Yeah. Okay, so I asked people try to narrow it down to one. We can talk about multiples, but to start off, try and narrow it down to one. Your favorite DLC or expansion pack, the one that was most worth the money, the one you spent the most time in, the one that was, transcendent in some way, memorable, your favorite.
Okay.
And so, expansions, DLC.
Perfect.
However you want to describe that. So, the first one's from Nerdez, the Cats and Dogs expansion for Sims 4. And that was a huge fucking deal.
That was a big deal.
When they announced it, holy shit, pets.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Yeah,
it doesn't
I can
matter
see
how
that
much
being-
it costs. It's coming into my game.
Yeah.
And, being able to, so you've made your house, you've made your family, they all have jobs, they're all doing shit, they're ghost busting or whatever it is you can do this. I don't know what you do in this.
Yeah, you can actually ghost bust.
Oh, cool.
Like there's ghosts and vampires.
That's after they're killed by you. They become ghosts.
After you kill them.
Yeah. Or after they get eaten by a vampire. Like they're vampires and
But yeah,
there's a lot of weird shit in there.
weird. Yeah.
being able to fill a house with virtual dogs and cats is, her dream. So being able to do that. So build your dream home, build your dream family, which is apparently not me. It's some dude. No, I'm just kidding. And then throwing cats and dogs in there as well. And you can sort of make them look, however you want.
Because
and
pets
stuff
make
like that.
everything better.
Yeah.
I mean,
There is a Twitter
Scrolls?
account called Can You Pet the Dog? And what it does is it doesn't rate games. It just tweets games and whether or not you can pet the dog in the game.
That's awesome.
And Enter the Gungeon
Oh yeah.
actually added the ability to pet the dog in the game because of that Twitter account.
Wow.
That's so
I gotta
funny.
check
That's
that out
actually
now.
funny.
Nerdez's was Sims 4 Dogs and Cats. Naoj-sama said the Shivering Isles from Oblivion. So Oblivion is home to some of the worst DLC ever. One of the first DLCs we were able to get on console wasn't Oblivion. It was the horse armor, and it was $10 or $6 or $2 or whatever the dollars was.
You dress like a
it
horse?
was your horse would have armor on it. It didn't make them, I don't think, any more sturdy. Yeah. It was just a cosmetic thing, and whatever the charge was so astronomical. It was like, oh, this is a terrible step forward in terms of gaming. Like.
Yeah.
This is the first microtransaction where they fucked you like real bad, right?
A lot of micro money on that.
They did. And they went on to make, Shivering Isles, I think, was the first expansion of the game for Oblivion. And it was like a whole new map and a whole new, and it was all very weird, because it was all about the basically the Loki of Oblivion. Mm-hmm. And so it was all like weird shit and painted areas and stuff being weird and wacky that may not have necessarily worked in a main game, like in a main campaign, but was totally a kick-ass ride. Mm-hmm. And so that was now to Samus.
Ooh, just so I don't forget, I do have another one. I know I told you one. But I do have another one, so just don't let me forget.
I have them too.
About my second one.
Okay. Cal has one too. You want to write yours down? Sure. I'll have to read that thing though.
JD, I've been playing the new No Man's Sky. It is actually a lot better.
So No Man's Sky, though, are those expansions and DLC or are those updates?
Those are, I would say,
because I'm going to delineate a little bit here. We can still talk about updates as part of the conversation, but so Fortnite is updates, right?
The skins and stuff, I would say, would be DLC.
Maybe.
The ones you buy?
Could be.
It's not necessarily content. It's just stuff in the game.
It is content, but it's not the content that
the content that you want.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Which is a big debate in Realm right now. It's like, yes, all this content, but it's not really content.
Oh, thank you for coming by, Mr. Birds. Have a fantastic night. I hope the Wi-Fi went well.
All right, man. Catch you later.
I'll jump into chat a little bit and see what before we continue with the social media. Game Guy said Just Cause 3's Sky Fortress DLC slaps a minigun, rocket launcher, and jetpack onto your wingsuit, makes the game 30% better. So, and this is, I think, something that we're going to sort of get to, is that a DLC that sort of is a whole new, not more adventure, but a new adventure. Like, we weren't sure if we wanted to make your wingsuit this incredibly fucking powerful in game because you just be a bulldozer.
Right.
So we're going to put it in the DLC because this is a new experience and there's flying sky fortresses and shit that, you can get a little more fantastical.
They build the adventure around that.
And then build a plot or campaign around that.
Yeah.
I'm writing JB's down, don't worry.
Right, yes. Proper DLC, JB says the Valkyria Chronicles and VC4 DLC were very enjoyable. I actually did not play those.
Oh, I want to play
Why did I
those,
write that
actually.
down?
I have those on my...
Oh, you wrote that down?
On my favorites.
Oh, I appreciate that. I'm going to get to your other one, JB, here. Also, Bree says The Last of Us. So The Last of Us did have amazing DLC.
I don't think I played that DLC.
So it focuses on Ellie and her relationship with the friend. It's like a prequel. And it's different, but what it does is it sort of tells a story of something that was very like emotional and very good story, but it won't fit in the main game. It would be a distraction from the main campaign because the main campaign is about Joel and Ellie's relationship, but it's a brilliant companion piece to be able to experience that, and
So it's like some good character development.
Yes, yeah. And if you're with that kind of game, if you're invested in the characters, something like Just Cause 3, like if they had a backstory about Rico's blah 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 blah, like no one would give a shit because that's not a part of the game,
not
right?
Character, I guess.
You're a dude with scruff and you blow shit up. You don't need a backstory. So. The Last of Us is a great one. So other ones, this one I thought was interesting. Loki said the Japanese voice DLC for Persona 5. There's a DLC pack that you can get. It may be free, but it is for the RPG Persona 5, and it gives you the ability to change from English voice actors to Japanese voice actors, which is strange because why would that not be just
default
in the game?
Yeah.
Well, default maybe, but
because in
just
Sekiro,
have it in the options menu. Why is it?
Because the subtitles might not be available in the game, but they could be. If they're listening to it in Japanese.
Sekiro is based in Japan, and you have the choice of either English or Japanese. So
my guess is it was an afterthought.
Probably,
they released the game, and somebody was like, we probably should have had the option of the Japanese with subtitles.
Makes sense, but it shouldn't be
because
DLC.
in Japan though they have that track, right? Like when you release Persona 5 in Japan,
It's Japanese.
that track's on the disc. So why are you shipping?
That's what I'm saying.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, like it was probably an afterthought where
it was localized, and then they decided to globalize it.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, we probably shouldn't have done that.
Yes. Yeah. They didn't turn the text. I see. Yeah. So there is the version where I guess a lot of the text and like the backgrounds and stuff I'm guessing are written in Japanese. So it's not just a vocal track. There's like an entire...
There'd have to be an English subtrack too to add on to it.
And then there's a music thing as well. So, okay. That makes sense. But I thought that is an interesting pick for someone also.
Yeah.
To want to experience something, in a different language, which I think is super awesome. But I wouldn't even I wouldn't even think of that. Like, to me, that seems like an option that should have maybe been in the game to begin with. For whatever reason, it wasn't. And, like...
Because I like playing Sekiro in Japanese rather than English voice actors.
And you have that, you can set that anytime you want.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, I get that. Trigun's one of my favorite animes, and after watching it 1,000 times in English, I went and watched it in Japanese because I know it now. Like I don't need to hear the words to know, and like I do have an appreciation for the Japanese voice actors, even though I technically have no idea what they're saying. I don't speak Japanese. Like their emotion and stuff. Like yeah. Like some of them was like, oh, I kind of wish that the English voice actor were as good as the Japanese.
Yeah, the emotion that they give out in Japanese voice acting, I love a lot. That's
to me, and this is not a sub-dub. This is not a sub-dub conversation, but there's a place for both, and I like. There are some English actors that I love so much, Trigun being one of them. That I would choose the English dub every time because those actors to me were very powerful.
Right.
Yes, I can't remember. It was one of the bad guys in Trigun.
Legato?
No, because I liked Legato. It was like one of the... I don't remember which one exactly.
One of the other guys.
But yeah, one of the other guys who was like, oh man, the Japanese guy was way better than the English guy of that.
Did you say Legato wasn't a bad guy?
I could see someone arguing...
What a weird hill to die on.
Incorrectly that Knives wasn't a bad guy, just
I could see someone saying Knives was not a bad guy.
It was like straight up like the evil guy.
Misunderstood.
Holy crap. Okay, so more from social media. World of Warcraft, the Ratch of Lith King expansion. And actually, I'm going to ask a question about WoW specifically later as we go on, because I think having a little bit of what was the best WoW expansion might be a fun conversation for people. But Wrath of the Lich King
podcast.
Right. Wrath of the Lich King was Siz's pick. And not only was this the expansion that really got him into WoW, but it was also the birth of the name Sizz, as he named his character, and then that sort of followed him through other games. So he has a soft spot for it. Emotional attachment to it.
Yeah, that's cool. But no, that was a great expansion.
Was Wrath?
Yeah.
Is it your favorite WoW expansion?
Well, to be honest, that was probably about the last one that I played. After that was...
Did you prefer it to BC, to Burning Crusade?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, a whole new world to explore, flying mounts, and just new level caps, and the battlegrounds. They introduced some new battlegrounds there too, and so that was a lot of fun. I remember that they were struggling a lot with the resilience stat, which made PvP a little bit more difficult, because I think they've done away with that.
I liked the Cataclysm expansion, what some people call the Cataclysm expansion.
Wow.
Do you guys remember that at all?
No.
Okay, so there's a meme, like there's a girl that was like doing a review of World of Warcraft Cataclysm, and in the review she kept referring to it as Cataclysm.
Oh.
And it was just really off-putting.
That just hurts me, you saying that.
Right.
So,
wow.
So from Joseph Nobles, he said that the Hrothgar expansion to Elder Scrolls Online was his favorite expansion because it has one of the best main quest lines in the game and is a beautiful world to explore.
Yeah.
And so, one of the things that I disliked about the Ghost Recon expansions, because we played both of them, they had different stuff to do in them, but it was the same game in the same map. In Fallen Ghosts, what they did was they introduced a couple new weapons, but the new enemies were ones that were armored except for the head, so you had to make headshots to kill them, which didn't exist in the regular game. And then they had active camo guys that you could only see with your thermals. So
that's cool.
Pulling out, having to, hearing something, pulling out your thermals is really cool.
Yeah.
And those things are cool, but $19.99, $30. When you're in this, if it was in a different map in a different locale, then it would have been like, this is so baller. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they just reused the same map and added new missions and new enemies to it.
So is that what you're saying? What Hrothgar was?
No. I'm saying that I can understand appreciating Hrothgar because it is a new place with and so that's important to me. Is a new locale.
Yeah.
If you're going to keep the same locale, you're going to have to change up a whole lot. And so Just Cause 3, or don't charge me much for it.
But
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
the other thing too is with those expansions for ESO is that it's also new lands that they add for the expansion, but also new bosses and dungeons,
Right.
and trials, those are a lot of fun too. I've played Elder Scrolls for a couple of years, and I've got a couple of the expansions, but I don't think I got Rothgar.
You played ESO for a little bit?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I got I played for a couple of years. I played what was it? I can't remember them all, but I got the bark one for the lizard people. There were 2 lizard ones.
Oh, what's the name of the lizard people?
Crap.
Well, I don't know.
Sorry.
I'm sorry. I've played every Elder Scrolls game. I can't tell you the name of their fucking races.
Right. God.
Well,
But
Bree
anyway,
called you
sorry.
out. She said Panda again today, Cal.
I was trying.
Were you
to
going to
get
jump
that.
in and be...
I was.
I'm sorry, yeah.
Way to go.
Sorry, I called you out. Argonian, thank you, Jude.
Argonian.
Jesus.
Thank you. Yeah, I was about to have to pull out mine. But yeah,
Yeah, it was driving me nuts.
I got the Argonian one. That one's hella fun. Like the boss fights, that's what I love about ESO, are the boss fights are so complex. Like it requires a lot of team coordination.
Okay, so yeah, I can appreciate that.
Yeah,
I really appreciate
and
that.
like people have to, everyone has to know their roles and what to do.
And then finally from social media, Chris Novembrino said Brood War from StarCraft, the
it's a
original
classic.
StarCraft, was apparently, I don't know much about StarCraft, but Brood War was apparently such a huge
man.
expansion, you forget it's an expansion and not like a standalone game.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So did anybody play StarCraft or Brood War back in the day? Yeah. What was Brood War? Was it like a new campaign from a new perspective? Or was it...
It was a Zerg campaign, wasn't it?
Yeah, like the first one you started out, you get to play
the
all the
Marines.
campaigns.
Yeah.
And then Brood War was like, the Zerg coming back
And they also had stolen the queen. That was with what's her name?
Kerrigan.
Kerrigan. Yeah, that was a big Kerrigan story for that one.
Yeah,
as well.
yeah, that was mainly her story.
And it was awesome.
Yeah, JB apparently also thought it was a sequel, which it technically was not. It is technically an expansion to the first game.
Yeah. See, the great thing about expansions back in the day, they were like, so they gave you so much more playtime.
Oh yeah,
Right,
And,
yeah.
and it's an RTS, so if
Yeah.
you fucked up, you had to do the whole thing all over again.
There's sort of like an innate hours sink into an RTS, right?
Oh,
so
yeah.
if you add an expansion to a first-person shooter, it's going to depend sort of on how good you are at it, but it's probably going to go by pretty quick. An RTS, like,
It's gonna take time.
it's going to take time. Like even like, you know, like the bosses in Sekiro, this is designed to take a while.
right.
So yeah, that makes sense.
Build your bases, get your resources. It's gonna take a minute.
Brie also says, I also like the Splatoon DLC, so you can be an octopus, and I like Smash Brothers DLC because they have Joker for Persona 5 now.
Oh yeah.
Are you guys good with with characters being DLC in fighting games like that? Is that you like that they can add to it over time, or is it frustrating that you may have to spend more to expand the roster?
I'll say yes, I like it, but when it comes to games, when it's come to like a ranked game, let's say a DLC like League, or let's say Smash Brothers, we just brought about, that goes into banning champions. Like you get a certain amount of ban list in your ranked games.
In Paladins, when they release a new champion, you cannot play them in ranked, no matter what, for the first like month or so.
Yeah. Right.
Man,
Basically,
that would
it's like
be
we
awesome.
released a
Overwatch
champion.
has the same.
You are unable to play them in ranked. Period. After we've spent time balancing and seeing how things play out, then we'll add them to the ranked queue.
They kind of they have two, the test server, the league test server, and the server, but not everybody gets to play that champion. So I wish they did that.
You wish they did that in
They
League?
banned it for like a month, yes.
Right.
But they should.
And they still have league or champion banning in Paladins, where you're like each team gets
team gets
two, and
3.
you can whatever.
We get 5 bans right now, but the more characters you get, I feel like.
But yeah,
the
let's say
ban
like
list
in
goes-
League there's like
But then there's going to come a point where you're going to spend 30 minutes banning champions because there's a roster of 500.
Jesus.
You're gonna narrow it down to like 20 people.
So Alex, let me get to you first. You mentioned to me that, and you have a few, but the first one that you mentioned to me was the Tiny Tina DLC from Borderlands 2.
Yes.
So Borderlands released good expansions in general. The series has released good expansions in general. But I specifically got so fucking burned out in Borderlands because they released so much additional content that I was like, God damn, I'm never ever done with this game. It's practically a single player MMO.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what did you like
That would be
about?
so cool. I would actually like that.
Dude, there's like 6 expansions out for just the one
Yeah,
Borderlands
that's
2
awesome.
game. There's a lot of content there. But yeah, I love the Tiny Tina's what was it? Bunkers and Badasses is what it was called. And it's just kind of D&D based where Tiny Tina and the whole crew, Malachi, Mr. Torg, Brock are all there just kind of playing like a D&D game, and in the expansion you're playing out their campaign.
Oh,
And so
that's really clever.
It's pretty fun.
So it's like, did you ever watch Community?
yeah.
Have you seen the D&D episode or episodes of Community where they're playing D&D but the show's like playing it out?
Can't actually remember right off the top of my head. But that's one of them.
And yeah, anyway, this sounds like a little bit like that, where it's kind of goofy and like
Okay.
funny shit goes on,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I think that's a really cool. See, that's a really cool idea.
Yeah,
with
yeah,
the DLC.
all sorts of crazy guns in there too, like that can only be used in that expansion.
Was it like? Did they have new areas? Like, did it take place in a new map or in the same map as the main game?
Yeah, whole new map,
Okay,
whole
cool.
new world to explore.
Yeah,
So yeah,
that's awesome.
it's a pretty fun game.
So Daniel, you
Yes.
mentioned to me Elite Dangerous
Yes.
having DLC that you really liked,
Which
or expansion that you really liked.
which maybe isn't fair, because so the way that Elite Dangerous works is you can buy the game usually on sale for like $7, but let's just say you pay full price for it. I think it's like 14. $14
Oh, real
for-
quick, Game Guy did say it's Assault on Dragon's Keep was the name of that
Yes,
DLC?
you're
okay,
right.
yeah.
Thank you.
Just fact checking
I
there.
just call it Bunkers and
Yeah.
Badasses.
So you can buy like just the base game for like $15,
Mm-hmm.
and you can play the game. Then you can buy the expansion called Horizons, which gives you planetary landfall, along with a couple of other little things.
Okay.
But it's like $20.
Yeah.
So even if you pay like full price, you're paying $45 for the full game. But like I could not imagine even playing that game without Horizons.
Oh, okay. It changed the game so much that now it should be just an integral part of
That it's just-
everyone's purchase.
Yeah.
LS cases I can watch Elite Dangerous all day. It is the kind of thing that I think with the right personality, like with the right streamer,
Yeah.
that it's just totally chill and you like hang out, like you're sort of like in their ship. You're like part of their crew, like
Right.
talking to them about stuff and just, being a part of the adventure. But
Who was June? You were there at my last Elite Dangerous stream, where I was 45, and I think Mark was too, where I was 45 seconds away from losing my ship.
was that when you were trying to figure out how to exit and you were loitering?
No, this is so I was having crashing issues with Realm, so I loaded up Elite Dangerous to see if it was just the game or my system or whatever.
Right.
Accepted a wing mission, which is supposed to be 4 people, but I was just by myself.
Okay.
So I went to take down this pirate lord by myself.
But wouldn't that be a mistake?
To
To accept a 4-person mission on your own?
one could argue. Now I won,
Okay.
so I killed him.
So who's the...
So like suck it, I guess. But he and his buddies fracture my canopy in the fight. So then your helmet comes on and you have life support. So it's like 5 minutes to get to a station.
Okay.
Now, the ship I'm in is the what is considered a large ship. So you can't just dock anywhere. You have to have a station with a landing pad large enough to accommodate your ship.
So the station has to have the landing pad large enough, and it has to have one that is open.
Yes. So I had to actually jump to a different system, and then
You could still
Get to the
jump with your
station.
canopy fractured?
apparently, I was actually worried that it wouldn't let me do it.
please,
But
God.
Pretty much was like, let's see this happen.
That's hysterical.
Now, your HUD is on the screen,
Yeah.
right? So like where you see the lines of like and the planets and like it's a ring around. Hey, this is your destination, and like he tells you, if you're going too fast or too slow or whatever. That's on your glass.
Yeah.
Well, the glass is gone.
Oh, I see.
So instead of seeing a ring, here's your destination, and here's how far away you are, all I see is stars.
Oh God.
Yeah, it was
So you were just like
Guesstimating.
pretty much.
You have like a computer that it gives you some information, but you
Yes.
can't visually.
But I can't really see it. Yeah, so like I have kind of a how far away I am, and then I have a little thing that tells me if I am on track to it or not. And so I'm basically doing VFR flying, which is like thick cloud cover. Your just instrument, like you're just looking at your instruments trying to fly. And
Luke,
like,
you've turned off your targeting computer. What's wrong?
Yeah.
I'm real fucked here, guys.
Yeah, it was so it ended up getting in there and like landing and it was like 30 seconds left of air or whatever.
Yeah.
So like it was just funny because you were like, yeah, with the right zoom, like really chill and laid back, and I was like, that was not chill.
Unless I'm about to shit myself and lose my ship.
Yeah, it was
So I'm going to pitch this real quick before I get into
Listen, pitch this
me and Cal's. How would you guys feel about a game that launches at $60, which I guess is the standard? When they release an expansion, however much the expansion costs, they reduce the price of the main game by that much. Is that fair? Like, would that be fair as a standard practice? Not universal, but a standard practice. Because obviously as an early adopter, if you're going to be day one on Destiny and you're going to buy all the expansions day one, that's going to cost you more. That's the cost of,
Entry.
of entry of being a first adopter, right? If you wait until everything's, if you buy the Game of the Year edition with all the DLC, you get everything for so much cheaper.
Right.
But, let's say you want to come in midway, like, okay, so Elite Dangerous was, 60, I don't think it was, but let's just say it was $60 when it launched. They released Horizons. Horizons cost $30, but now the main game is $30. So now I can sort of choose. You know what I mean?
Right.
Does that seem a fair balance?
Yeah.
Well, as a gamer, yeah, I would appreciate that.
Yeah, but their company ideas won't, because they're trying to make a money margin.
Well, yeah, but the thing is I feel like it would, though, because then it's going to attract people that wanted to test out the main game at a cheaper price. And then if they like it at all, they're going to get the expansion.
Because you already have your first, your first wave of people who are going to buy it when it comes out, and then, like I said, you're going to have and then.
Now, this may be something they sort of already do, sort of.
What Elite Dangerous did, which is a good idea, except that they keep giving really big updates, not expansions. They're big enough that some of them could be considered expansions, but they keep giving really big updates for
EA
free.
would call them expansions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When Elite Dangerous first launched, you could buy the game for I think it was like $50. And then later the Horizons download. Or you could spend $120 to buy the game and then get for free every expansion for the rest of
But you're buying,
Elites.
you're buying 2 games at one point. That's asking for a lot.
Right, which would be great if like so far there's been one paid expansion.
Right.
So those people who paid $120 are now sitting there like, okay, I paid $120 like 5 years ago,
right?
And you've saved me $30, like,
right. So,
but if they had done that right, like I feel like that's
sort of like what they do with season passes with other games, like console games, which is the game is $60. If you pay $80 for the season pass, you'll get all the DLC.
Right.
And they usually have a roadmap nowadays, especially of like this is sort of the roadmap for the DLC.
Right.
But even then, it all sort of depends, right? Because we've mentioned Destiny, and LSK says Destiny will fuck you over with DLC. Destiny did fuck me over with DLC because the thing that it added with like a $30 expansion for the Rise of Iron or Iron Throne or Iron dildos or whatever it was
The Rise of Iron
was I love playing like the campaign, like the story missions and
the raids.
And there are raids, but raids are difficult to do, require you to grind a level up to, and then create a 6-person team to be able to do and schedule with 5 other people when to do it. Because I believe there was no matchmaking with the raids. I think you had to create a party to do it. So I paid $30 for 90 minutes more of story when Sam and I played it, and I was fucking livid.
Yeah.
House of Wolves, that was it. Thank you, LSK. Yeah, that was the name of it. And actually the same thing with Arkham. So I love the Arkham trilogy. Those games,
I put that on.
Daniel, for crying out loud, play the Arkham games. I think
they're fucking great.
Yeah. I've heard good things about them.
But the last one, the DLC, if you bought them individually, they're like $10, I think, per pack. But like $10, I tend to think of my game time as worth $1 an hour. So if I pay $30 for a game, I'd like to spend, maybe 50 cents an hour. Basically, I want a $30. If I pay $60 for a game, I want 30 hours worth of gameplay from it.
$2 per hour.
Yeah. So if this was $10 for the DLC, and it was I think 30 or 45 minutes, and I was not happy.
Yeah.
I was not happy with that at all.
Yeah.
So even like a little, if I pay $10 for DLC and I get 3 or 4 hour jaunt of something new and riveting or a new character or whatever, I can okay. So it actually, I just now realized as we've been talking through this that I really want to play the Spider-Man DLC because I hear it's good, but is it good content or is it good for DLC?
Yeah.
Because I realized that Arkham is actually what's making me not buy the Spider-Man DLC, because if it's an hour, I'm not going to spend $10 for another hour per hour of game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
So
It'd probably be only like a couple hours.
right. So what were you going to say, Cal? What's your favorite expansion
I
or
would
DLC?
say mine was, due to the fact of some of our other friends, would have to be the Frozen Throne expansion.
World of Warcraft, or no, not Warcraft 3.
From
Yeah.
Reign of Chaos.
Okay, so what
Expansion
changed
that.
in Frozen Throne? What shifted?
Well, first off, it's a story for Arthas becoming pretty much wanting to become one with the Lich King and take the Frozen Throne.
was this
that
like
was a
telling
great
the villain story?
Yes,
Was this a villain that
Origin
existed
story.
in Warcraft 3 and then they did the DLC about the villain? Or was this
Right. So yeah.
like did you what I'm getting at it was like when you buy Frozen Throne, do you know this is a villain story, or is this following the story of someone who surprise became a villain?
So his goal was to become a villain.
Okay.
He was you're following the story.
He's going down a dark path.
Okay, but you didn't know he was going to become the Lich King when you bought the DLC, or at the beginning, right?
Not necessarily, no.
Okay, yeah. That,
But it wasn't just because of that story alone. It was also that entire expansion allowed gamers and like R&D people to fuck around with and make their own games. And so that's where the origins of Dota came from.
right, which
that's
eventually
where
became
Dota 2
and then
now.
League of Legends. But like
Right.
MOBAs came from a mod that spawned from Frozen Throne.
Correct.
Right.
Dude, I remember.
Played-
An entire game type was born from that expansion.
And we bought literally between myself, Eric, John, Derek, Kyle, like at least 6 of us, Juan, we all probably bought at least 4 copies, like at full price, of the Frozen Throne, because we had to put keys on all of our computer stuff, and you had to have the permanent key in our
Yeah.
accounts.
Yeah.
And if you can't just use a disc, you have to put a key, and if you lose your key, you're boned.
so you each bought a copy of it, but then you each bought multiple copies
Because
of
we
it to
kept
put
losing our
on
copies.
different.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's wow.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's before Steam, right? That's part of the
before-
reason why
that's before-
PC was
Yeah,
was in trouble, right?
Like accounts
Before they got organized. Yeah.
The dark times.
No, but I love that Warcraft. What you were explaining about how people created different games out of it. Because I remember
Equipment
back in the
Frenzies, you've got
Yeah.
there's so many NOTD, Night of the Dead.
like my friend and I, we actually found a Naruto skin for Warcraft 3. And
the
so
hell?
yeah.
Would
So
you-
we played
would you play
we played
Naruto
a
Warcraft?
MOBA. It was him and I playing in a MOBA arena as Naruto characters. That was pretty cool.
Fantastic.
That's very random.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
it.
I do like it. So I was thinking about like my favorite expansion or DLC, like something that really like added a lot to the game. And to me, one of the ones that stand out is the Dragonborn DLC from Skyrim. I'm actually not a huge Skyrim fan. I'm not like a big, I'm gonna buy Skyrim on every console I can get and I'm gonna mod the shit out of it. Like I played Skyrim and I liked it, but it wasn't, I appreciate it for what it is, but it just wasn't like super my bag. But there was a moment in Skyrim, and I've talked about this before. There was a moment in Skyrim that I got super pissed because near late game, there's so much to do in Skyrim, and the game's so old. I don't think you guys are really going to care. But late game in the main campaign, you're setting off to sort of head towards the final battle, and there is a dragon that is going to help you, and the dragon's like, "All right, get on, let's go," and I'm like, oh shit, let me on this motherfucking dragon, let's do it. And it's like, are you ready to travel? I am. It fades to black and then comes back and I'm there. off of the dragon, and he goes, "You're here," and I'm like, "Why are you fucking kidding me?" Like, why would you do that? It was just the biggest gaming blue balls I've ever had in my life.
Man.
Here's the dragon. Oh, you saw the dragon.
Did you see it? Did you see it?
Go book a show.
Dragonborn fixed that. Dragonborn was the DLC where you could get on a motherfucking dragon and fly it around and blast shit and do some and it like also sort of ended the story. And so that was like, thank you.
That finished
Thank
you
you for
off.
fucking giving. Yeah, this took a couple years. I finally was able to finish. And God, yeah, it was insane. Another series that I actually want to toss out is Dragon Age. Dragon Age.
I wrote that down.
Yeah, Dragon Age overall has had tremendous expansions. Every expansion is worth it in Dragon Age. It gets you more into the characters. They're usually challenging as fuck. Like they're one of the last ones in the first one in Awakening or Dragon Age Origins. It wasn't Awakening. It was the Golem one.
Yeah,
was like
that
was
was it.
hard as shit.
Yeah, it was.
Really hard. Like I played the game on like medium. They don't call it easy, medium, hard. They call it casual, normal, and expert. And so in the main game, I was like sort of flipping between normal and expert, just depending on how I was feeling at the time. But when I got to the DLC, I had to put it to casual because I couldn't do it.
Wow.
And yeah, so that was good.
Good games.
Good shit. So what else? What other? You had a couple others, Alex. I think that you had brought.
Yeah.
What's your handy dandy notebook?
I had a little list.
JB did say, by the way, I finally got around to you, JB. You did say the GTA expansions, which sort of act like updates, GTA Online updates.
Yeah.
They just updated into the game.
Yeah.
But they also call them expansions, like they refer to them as expansions. They're really updates, but they're huge updates.
Yeah.
So like the heists, that was an expansion. Yeah. That was not in GTA Online when it launched. And the heists not only is what GTA, like not only one of the greatest online multiplayer experiences I've ever had in my life, but like the streaming it was fun, all the memories we made during it, like that was a huge thing as well. Yeah. So we still have one heist to do, by the way. So this summer we're going to do the Doomsday heist, and so stay tuned for that. But you brought some others as well that you really dug, right?
Yeah. Well, it's just some of them I haven't played, but I just kind of wrote them down just because I knew that they
made an impact.
Yeah, because they were hyped about and great. But I played The Witcher 3. I didn't get the DLC for it.
Witcher has great DLC.
Yeah, the Blood and Wine. That one I heard was really great. I have it on my PC. I just haven't played it yet.
It is a brand new map, brand new story. Does sort of cap off some other things while not directly related to the main game, but like sort of takes the story in a new direction. And is creepy and beautiful and probably anywhere from 20 to 30 hours of gameplay for it.
Yeah.
And I think they charged $15 for it. So it was like
Worth it.
absolutely worth it.
Just worth it.
Yeah, one of the best DLCs that I hear that's out there. Another favorite of mine is XCOM 2, War of the Chosen. XCOM is a tactics-based game where you have a team of, say, 4 to 6 people, and you have an objective to either kill someone or obtain an item.
You're either grabbing something or you're hacking something.
Yeah.
You've got, basically, you have a map, right? You load up a map and then you have turn-based, and you have a certain amount of turns usually to accomplish whatever it is you're accomplishing.
Yeah. And in that game, the new expansion for it is really difficult, which makes it a lot more fun. Basically, like the world, after the aliens have left, people who were abducted by the aliens are left there, and they become eventually like zombies. And so you're fighting against not only the horde, but also trying to take control of Earth again.
That's actually the other thing that I really like about some expansions is being the postscript to the game. And there's a game that did this pretty well, Prince of Persia. I think it was the 2008 Prince of Persia on the 360 and PS3.
Yeah.
And it was sort of a reboot of the Prince of Persia series, because before that you had the Sands of Time and like the Twin Kings or something like that. It was like a trilogy, and this one was a reboot. And the way the game ended was on this weird cliffhanger kind of, holy shit, what did I just do? You spend the whole game you have like 4 areas in the game, and you go through and you fight a boss and you cleanse that area, and then there's like this the whole darkness that's trying to take over. So you cleanse the area and lock it down.
Okay.
Cleanse this area and lock it down. Cleanse this area and lock it down. Cleanse this area, lock it down. And there are these trees that sort of indicate that they grow and glow, and like this area is complete. And this is one of the 4 chains keeping the darkness at bay. So you finish the game, and the princess is like, I have to sacrifice myself to be the final thing. And so she sacrifices herself so that you can, lock down darkness. The last thing that happens before the game ends is like the game ends but doesn't end. You have control of your character, and it doesn't tell you to do anything. But you sort of intuitively figure out, like, you walk up to these trees and you attack it, and then he breaks the tree. And so the game actually ends and goes to credits with you being unable to live with her sacrifice and undoing everything you just spent the whole game doing. So you're like, what the fuck did I just do? Like, all of that I did was for nothing. But also, that was awesome.
Yeah.
Like, I love that ending.
Yeah.
And then the DLC was the postscript of that, like, she comes back and now you're going to take down the darkness in a different way. So it was
Fucked.
yeah, but it was really cool.
real
Like,
fucked.
because I remember when I was like, wow, that's one of the best endings to a game I've ever played. And then the DLC came out, and I was like, this is great. For some reason I can silo those off. Like, this was the ending that I loved. I'm totally going to pay $10 to see what else happens after that, right?
Yeah.
So that's perfect. And so I think the XCOM 2 being in that similar vein.
Right.
Sorry, I went off on a whole story about that. I just really fucking love that game ending.
I hear it.
You know what I mean?
But yeah, I like how it just picks up right from the previous game and just goes on to a whole nother adventure.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So,
And,
what else you got?
let's see. I mean, we didn't talk about Fallout. Fallout has some good DLC. I guess for like Fallout 3.
Don't look at me. I don't play those games.
You don't play Fallout? You don't play Skyrim?
No.
So
No Bethesda.
no Bethesda at all?
I enjoy Bethesda, and they make great games. And you know what? I don't play them.
We'll be a little bit, and then we'll stick around also like we normally do, Resenpai, for another half hour or so. But which Fallout DLCs did you really like? Because I don't remember any of Fallout 4's, but I remember Fallout 3's.
Yeah, I mostly remember Fallout 3's because that's where I got into it.
I almost got into Burnout with Fallout 3 though, because again, the expansions were pretty lengthy and they were good and it was new stuff to do, but it was still like so much Fallout that I was like, well, I want to finish Fallout 3 when Mothership Zeta was the last one. By the time I finished Mothership Zeta, I was like, I am fucking done with Fallout. I'm sick of it. So I didn't even play New Vegas until after I played 4, I think. Like I was off of it for such a long time.
Yeah. But like Anchorage was like one of the big DLCs that I remember that first came out for Fallout, and I remember trying to. This was like back in the day when I first started building my PC, and so I kind of tried to get it a alternate way. And so
I see what you're saying.
I couldn't get it to work.
So do you prefer, so the way that Operation Anchorage did it was you I think you were technically still the same character, but not really, because you went into like the VR thing, right? And it sort of spun up a new character. And in Operation Anchorage, you sort of started over from scratch, and there was no looting, because whenever you killed someone, they like digitized and faded away. So it didn't have. Do you guys prefer in a DLC to be able to continue the progress of the character that you've built in a game like this, or do you prefer to start anew?
I would prefer to keep the same character.
Continue your progress. Keep
Continue.
your stats.
No,
what's the point of building?
You've invested into something, and
that's right. You should be able to just play through that DLC.
Yeah.
Now again, this is a little different in the sense of like Arkham, right, where you've played through as Batman and you've leveled up, and now you're going to play as Robin for the DLC or Nightwing for the DLC. Like, I think that's cool. I would like a new set of moves or playing as Harley Quinn.
Different
like
character.
that's cool.
Yeah.
But basically taking, like in Wildlands, you play through the game, you unlock all your shit. And then you have to make a new custom character to play the DLC is a little bit like, why the fuck would I want to do that?
Yeah, I totally get that.
I'm just going to spend 30 minutes trying to make the same fucking character I made last time.
Yeah.
Just give me a new game. But no, I totally see
Oh, hey,
that.
Kels.
Hey, Kels.
Welcome.
Hello.
Been trying to chat forever. Well, now you're chatting.
Yeah.
And now we're here.
Welcome to it.
Welcome. Finally, glad you made it. And then Bloodborne. The Old Hunters.
Oh, for
Going
fuck's
back
sake.
to From Software.
Bloodborne is a Soulsborne game. It's made by the people that make Dark Souls and Sekiro.
Yeah.
And Bloodborne it was difficult, not just because it was difficult, which it was, but also because if you had been a longtime Souls player, it was a small tweak, but it changed sort of the way that you had played the entire game. Because in Dark Souls, a lot of it is pacing, positioning, reading, defending, and finding the spot to attack. Bloodborne was about aggression and about, like, you don't have shields in the game. You can't block. So you have to dodge, close distance, attack, and if you get attacked, if you take damage and then attack right after you've taken damage, you can replenish a significant portion of the health you lost. So it was a whole new way of thinking. But the DLC was very difficult and
because
disturbing, and there are a lot of hunters around, which are difficult to manage. But also, the Orphan of Kos, which is the final boss of that specific DLC, is probably the hardest boss of the entire Soulsborne saga. And it was one of those things that I just slammed my head up against the wall for days.
Yeah.
Like, I spent day after day after day, like for a few hours a day, trying to beat this fucking shrieking moth person zombie,
Right.
swinging his kidney around like a yo-yo. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, I tried playing Bloodborne then for like 30 minutes. Then I just
You spent 30 minutes in Bloodborne and realized
then
it
I
was for you?
turned that shit off.
Why?
Like,
Why is that? Do you not like games that are tough but fair?
It is tough but fair, but it didn't give you an idea of what the fuck to do. It was
Nope.
just and I'm like, no, this is pointless. I needed something.
This is interesting though, because you love Castlevania.
Yeah.
And this is like a 3D Castlevania in the sense that, like, okay, you're in sort of an area.
That punishes the fuck out of you.
And it does punish
and
the fuck out of you.
And it had 5-minute load times. I don't have time to waste. Burning daylight with a load time. Fuck that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
I mean, you're going
yeah.
for the challenge.
Yeah.
You go for the challenge,
But it is very
a
much
fucking
just
5 to
like
10 minute reset. Fuck yourself.
head out. Imagine like the first Legend of Zelda, right? You press start. Da, 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 you're like, I guess I'll go. Just go, look around,
I'm
see
okay
what's out there.
with that, but at the same time, it was just like you just got like early game
but
regardless. It was just
It's giving you time to cool down.
Yeah.
And come back.
I guess. I just wanted to snap the disc in half. Like, fuck that game.
The wolf at the beginning was in here punched him. He's fucking me up.
That game was.
Yeah. No, it's rough.
I want to
Yeah.
melt it down.
Yeah. I love going back to Bloodborne every now and again.
Yeah.
This was gonna happen.
Sadistic like that.
Yeah. Just it's like it's such a
Self-punishment.
cool area, like the world. Also.
Yeah, I love that gothic.
So here's what's gonna happen. We're gonna do the fan can. The last thing that we do before we call it night is we go to the fan can. We're gonna read sort of an Ask Me Anything. If you guys want to add a question to the fan can, you can tweet us at GutterNerds with the hashtag FanCan. Or if you're watching on stream, you can actually redeem Nerd Cred, which you'll see a little overlay if you mouse over the video player if you're on PC. And I think maybe on mobile you can do it now too, where you can redeem points that you earn by watching to add random questions to the can. Then after that, if you guys are watching on Twitch, which most of you are, then stick around because we're going to talk about WoW expansions and we'll just sort of shoot the shit for a little bit. If you guys are listening on our audio podcast or watching on YouTube, then after this we will leave you. But those of you on Twitch, stick around and we'll just keep chatting with you for a little bit. Hey Pool, welcome. Howdy. Calvin, would you do the honors?
Of course.
We have a few left in.
Of course, yes.
It doesn't smell like coffee anymore, Shark. It smells like ass.
Is that word? Why aren't bidets?
Bidets.
Bidets. That's not how you spell it. Why aren't bidets mainstream in the U.S.?
I will say that it's not mainstream in my house because I don't like people spitting on my asshole.
Yeah, it's a pretty unique feeling. I've never had one before or used one, so I can't really say.
But you're okay. So
You know it's a unique
I made the
feeling.
joke, but I will be perfectly. I've never used a bidet before.
Yeah.
It sounds unappealing.
It sounds uncomfortable.
So
but-
just my retort to that, I've never used one, but a clean ass sounds unappealing.
Well, no, but I think that the
Yeah, back out of that one.
no,
yeah, let's see.
like the
you
squirting
twisted my words a little
of
bit.
the water up the butt is kind of uncomfortable.
See, unfortunately, because we live in the U.S., I feel like we are unqualified, ironically, to answer
Yeah.
the question. I think what the information that we need to answer that question is, why are they mainstream elsewhere?
Right.
Why can't y'all use toilet paper like regular people?
Or is it like, so I think it's like an additional tool, right? Which is like a combination of bidet and toilet paper is actually
Gives
the
you
maximum
cleanliness.
the maximum cleanliness.
It gives it a little dampening.
Right. So
get
it's
a
like
full
like
clean.
let's say you spill some spaghetti sauce on your counter in your kitchen, right?
Yeah.
If you just grab a paper towel and you don't use any water or Windex or whatever, it's gonna take you longer to clean the counter,
smear.
right? We're talking about counters
Yeah,
here.
it's gonna smear. That's right. It's gonna smear on the counter.
And so maybe there's something. Bree says this is weird.
Thank you for that question. That's great.
Next question.
Yeah.
The root of that, Steven does not like a clean ass.
No, that's not what I said. No, that's not what I said. That's
I
not
can
what I
wipe
said.
my own ass, thank you.
That's not at all what I said. So yeah, if you guys are watching on Twitch, stick around. But if you guys are watching on YouTube or listening, this is where we will leave you, and we will be back. No, we're off next week, so don't tune in next Monday, or do, but we won't be here. Feel free to cheer and subscribe. But if you're on Twitch, stick around. My name is Steve-O,
Calvin.
I'm Alex.
Raven 1.
and we'll see you next time.